morning, family. Happy Marvelous Monday. Good to see you. Good to see you. Y'all come on in. Oh, I'm feeling really refreshed today. I hope you are too. I hope your day is well. Good morning to my Facebook family and good morning to my Periscope family. I want to thank you for joining me this morning. I'm trying to get my voice, it's kind of, I'm trying to wake up. I've been up for a while. I got Kylia up, and I just put her on the bus. That's why this is a perfect time for me because I've been up for a while, and I can just kind of sit down and relax with you guys early this morning. Good morning, Periscope family. So my name is Darissa. I am the CEO and founder of God's Chosen Vessels, and I am also the creator of the Embrace formula. And so I thank you for joining me this morning. I thank you this Monday. I know everybody's busy and probably up getting ready for work or school or whatever it is you're doing today, or you might just be chilling in the bed. You might be one of the blessed few who can just kind of chill on a Monday. And so you decided to share your morning with me, and I appreciate that. I really do. So I thank you. I thank you. So we're going to have our word of the day, and for those of you, you might be first timers, you might be catching this on the replay on Periscope, so I thank you all my replay visitors. And what we do is we do this every morning, Monday through Friday at 7 a.m. Pacific time, and 9 o'clock Saturday and Sundays Pacific time. And so what the word of the day is an exercise that's not supposed to take the place of your devotion or your prayer time. It's basically just an exercise that we use in addition to help us with our perception, how we look at things, how we react to things meaning the stuff that comes our way during life, Some days aren't labeled the greatest of days. And so I have learned in my life that the way you approach that thing, the way you see it, the way you label it will determine how you maneuver through it. Okay? If in your mind, if your thinking is that of, oh, woe is me, why did this happen to me, then you're going to tend to not be able to see anything positive that might be, around you. Your blessings might be right in front of your face and you'll miss it, because you're so stuck in that stinking thinking mode. If you change your perception of things and how you see it, and not trust with your eyes, with what your eyes see, because your eyes lie. The truth is not always in what you see. God allows things, and it's beyond our comprehension because we aren't always the smartest all the time. We react carnally, from our gut sometimes, and we don't think or remind ourselves that God is in control. So that's what this is all about. This is all about remembering in spite of what you see. Good morning, Periscope family. That you can't control that thing by thinking negatively and trying to be on top of it. Okay, change your thinking. Okay, Lord, what are you trying to teach me? What are you trying to show me? What are you saving me from? Because it might not be something that's on your list of things to do. And so therefore, you get upset, you get anxious. Like, that's not how I planned it. Slow down for a minute. He's turning you around maybe, or repositioning you, or blocking something that might harm you that you don't know anything of. So you can't always assume that what comes your way that's not part of your list of things to do is a negative thing. It could be the very thing that could be saving you some heartache, saving you some unnecessary worry. So you have to trust. That's what this is. So what we do is we pull a word from our glass here. Some of the words are nice and warm and fuzzy words, so they're real easy. Perception isn't really a problem when it comes. But then every now and then we come across one that's like, it causes you to pause. Now, what am I supposed to get good out of this? So that's the whole purpose. And we pick blindly because of the simple fact that's how life is. You could be minding your own business, doing your own thing, having a beautiful day, and all of a sudden, phone rings, you get a phone call. It's bad news. Okay? And so how do you react? How do you respond? What do you do? Most of us, and I say us, we panic. We go into, okay, what can I do? How do I change this? Okay, why is this happening to me? We go into that. Hey, Nikki, good morning. We go into that type of thinking. So that's what we're trying to shift. That's what we're trying to change. Okay. Good morning. Thank you. How you doing today? Girl, I was rolling out the bed this morning. I did not want to get up at all. I said, okay, I can do this. So I just forced myself up. And girl, go ahead with yourself. Go ahead with yourself now. You feeling golden. I love it. I love it. You and Philly Jilly, huh? I love that. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna choose our word. Yeah, it was. It was really good. Like I said, when I got off the phone, I was like, I think I can just be, I headed to bed immediately after, but I didn't really actually go to bed till like 4 hours later. I don't know how that happens. That's me every night. Every night. I was like, oh, 10:30. That's early for me. I can do this. Girl, I got to bed. It was like 10 minutes to 2. It's like, what? What happened? Oh, well, here we are. Girl, energy boost. Yeah, but that's why I say I don't understand why I feel so refreshed. But thank you, Lord. He multiplied those hours for me, I guess. So I'm not complaining. But it took a minute, though. When I first woke up, I was like, okay. I can do this. Okie dokie dokie. So our word of the day is, okay, death. I know when I first put the words in here, back before, I think I did these words about the 28th or whatever of December, because I remember I was getting them together before the New Year's. Yeah, wow. Because I wanted to start on New Year's Day, which we did. That's why today is our 58th day. I remember when I put this word in there, I was like, wow, that's going to be a doozy. So I knew I was going to pull it eventually. Now this is a good example of, okay, we need to change our perception. A little about Darissa. I've been through a lot. I know January was quite a month for you, Nikki. Yeah. And so I'm interested in knowing, has your perception changed over the years of what this is all about? I know for me, death has never been a scary thing. And I remember as a kid, and I'm saying that out loud, but I remember as a kid saying that about myself. So that's another one of those things I think I just spoke into my own spirit or something. I've been around a lot of death. And I kind of took that for granted until I was like, I want to say in my mid 30s, when it became apparent to me that everybody has not experienced death. And I'm thinking, how can you be living and not experience death? Haven't you had a grandparent? But I actually had some people in my life at that time that had never really experienced it. I'm thinking, how do you manage that? I was very aware with my grandparents. I live. Oh, okay. I know you miss. I got you. I love harder. I enjoy my moments. I used to be afraid, but I'm at peace. There you go. That's the attitude to have. I remember vividly when my grandparents passed. I remember vividly when my Tuki passed, my uncle, cousins, because I've always been one who loved hard. I've always loved hard as a kid. That's just how I'm wired, and I think it never scared me again because Mom and Daddy gave me Jesus. Maybe I couldn't articulate it, but I had a certain understanding about this thing. It's not to say that I don't mourn. It's not to say that I don't cry or miss the person or go through the stages of grief. But I have never been fearful of death. And that always struck even me as odd. It's like, why do I not? That was something. I was something wrong with that. But I have learned to understand that the reason why is because I have a clear understanding of what death really is. Some may see this thing as the end, as a scary place. And I have realized that most people that feel that are those who have no hope. That tends to be the common denominator. Those that have hope and those who don't. And when I say those that have hope, those who are clearly aware that this thing is just a passageway. It's just how do you want to say, it's a season, a real quick season. It's a breezeway, a thoroughfare to from one. It's a threshold, like going through a door. It's from one room to another room. You know what I'm saying? You have to just right. Wrongdoers, they take it hard, honey. Yeah, got one in mind right now. She gonna have a hard time when our day comes. I ain't gonna mention no names, but right on. Yeah, but wrongdoers tend to have a hard time too. It's that guilt tends to take hold, and that I wish I did this, I wish I did that, and there's no coming back. There's no second chance. That's why you got to love hard now. You got to live life now, express your feelings now. You have to say what you got to say, do what you got to do now, because tomorrow's not promised. I've learned the next second ain't promised. That's what I learned in my life real early as an 18-year-old. Okay, so, I think that has a big, it makes a big difference on how you approach this thing. I think it helps, like even now in my situation, yet my brother's going to be like that. Okay, since you done called him out, I'm going to call my sister out, who I ain't seen. Okay, never mind. Anywho, so I said I would never go there, but you did it, Nikki. I'm gonna blame you. So yeah, death can really be a scary place for some people. It can be just a really hard place for some people, even when they think of their own, because we all gonna die one day. We're all going to die one day. That is the reality, and so I think for a lot of people, this is a perfect word where your perception needs to be worked on. Why do you feel that way? You have to ask yourself, why am I scared of death? Why am I fearful of that thing, either for myself or for a loved one? Why does it scare me? I'm not a gambling woman, but I would venture to say that it has a lot to do with where you are in your relationship with Christ. See, if you know him and you understand what he did for us, there's a scripture, but it basically says, death, calling it out by name, death, where is your sting? Grave, where is your victory? And then it goes on to say, grace, thanks be to God. We have victory through Jesus Christ because he died for us. He that power, he rose up with all power in his hand. He rose up. Death could not keep him in the grave. And likewise, we as believers, death has no power over us. It has no power over us. I'm trying to think of an example where that would make sense to the non-believer, because I know sometimes if I understand that if you're not of our faith. Good morning. I see somebody on the Facebook. Hallelujah. Thank you. I understand that this is a situation. Hey, Yolanda. Good morning, my beautiful sister. Thank you for joining. Girl, this is our word of the day, talking about death. Come on and chime in on this. What is your perception of death? I'm trying to think of an example that will help with the mindset change. Let's see, when you have an elder that has blessed you and taught you life lessons or just believed in you, yeah, that will really change your perception. It really will. That will change your perception because they've already been down that road of life. And when they leave, you have to keep remembering what they said right and praying that the life lessons that they have taught you, it teaches you something. Me being a person who spends a lot of time, my friends have always tended to be older than me, with the exception of our bad group. I tend to be I think I'm the oldest. I love being a big sister. That's just who I'm wired to be. That's just how I am. But in my world, I am the big sister of many, but I am also the little sister of many. And I know that in my early years, I tend to gravitate to people older than me. Like even now, I'm still, even though they're aunties, my mom's friends, oldest friends, like from, they're 50, going on 55, 56-year friendships. They are. Thank you for the love and the hearts. Thank you so much. Thank you for sharing. Can you guys share and tweet this out, please? I appreciate it. they're my aunties, but they're also my friends. And my mother's was wired like that too. All of mama's friends were older, and it's like so I don't know if that has something, maybe a little thing to do with it, because I've seen people pass away. I've seen how mama carried herself through the stages of grief and death. When daddy got murdered, I saw how she approached that thing. You know what I'm saying? I remember as a little girl, oh my goodness, I remember one summer when we went back home to Philly. That was Tuki had just bought a motorhome, my aunt. And so we traveled from California to Philly in the motorhome. When we got that way, we decided we were going to have a family reunion. So everybody's in Philly, but everybody started in Florence, South Carolina. So we packed up everybody that we could. We had like 30 people in that doggone motorhome. And we drove down to Florence, South Carolina. We took the 95 from Philly. And when we got there, it was about 2 hours before we got to Florence, Grandmama was saying, this is my daddy's parents, Grandmama was saying she wasn't feeling good. And we stopped. Yes, love, prompt. Prompt. That's exactly what it was, because everybody was there. So when we stopped at a McDonald's. Everybody piled out, used the bathroom, and this, that, and the other. And Grandma was saying that she wasn't feeling good. So by the time we rolled into Cousin JC's house, that's where we went straight to cousin Lindsay. I hope you see this on my replay viewers. My cousin, he on Facebook. My dad's first cousin, it was cousin JC. And they grew up together as little boys. And so we went to his house first. The minute we pulled up in front of that house, Grandmama, we piled out like clowns out of a little Volkswagen car. And when Grandmama went to step down, she just collapsed. Right there on Cousin JC's porch. No, coming off the stairs, and then they moved her up to the porch. And everybody on my daddy's side is in the medical field. So daddy just started doing CPR. And then I think cousin Jet, this is my first time seeing my cousins at the time in Florence. This is when I met all of them. And I remember just watching my daddy work on his mother. Just come on, mama, come on, mama. She was having a heart attack. And I remember, I don't even think we had 911 then, but I remember the ambulance was coming. And the way Cousin JC's house was, it was built at a church, like right next door to the house. I remember that. I got a picture of that somewhere. And there was a railroad track. You could literally see it. It wasn't even half a block away. And I remember hearing the siren coming. So it's coming. The ambulance is on its way. Right about that time, the train track went down. And of course, the train came. I don't know, like when you stop that train track and you're sitting in your car, you're waiting for it to pass. You know how you can see the cars going, the train what am I trying to say? Containers, the train going by. And as it's going by, you can see the cars on the other side that's coming in the opposite direction. You can see them sitting on the other side, just like you're sitting on the side. That's how that was. You could literally see the ambulance just sitting. What could it do? It had to wait for the train. Needless to say, my grandmother passed. And I remember that vividly. I can remember the expressions on my daddy's face, him crying and just working on his mama. Working on his mom. I remember seeing him just working on 1, 2, 3. I can see it. And I remember even then, I was so much of an observer. It's funny, I can just kind of have an outer body experience and just see myself looking at the situation, and just how even now I can picture it. I tell you what people had on. I remember there was never this feeling of, oh my God, what do you know? Of course I was sad. This is grandmother. I'm looking at her die. But I remember not feeling overtaken by the experience. You know what I'm saying? I remember being more concerned about my daddy. I remember that. But again, following the example of those before me, I never remember having a freak out experience. I remember when grandmama passed, Mama Hazel, mama's mama, who lived right around the corner from us. And I remember that morning, February 17th, 1975. I remember like it was yesterday. Like it was yesterday. Like it was yesterday. I'm sorry, 75. Yes, yeah, it was 75. And I remember exactly how it happened. I remember we had just left around there, and then Granddaddy and Aunt Tuki came around the corner. And when they came up the driveway, there was a look on their face. And Mama just started screaming. I remember it. And but again, I don't remember having feelings of, let me just dig a hole and get it kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? That's just, and I've always marveled at the fact, Lord, why am I feel weird. I feel weird. But I look at now and I see I've always had understanding. Grandmama was saved. Mom Hazel was saved. As believers, ain't that where we trying to go? Ain't we trying to get to him real quick? So yes, you grieve, but you know what the end really is. This is just a threshold to where we as believers are trying to go anyway. So when I realize, okay, that's why it doesn't do me like it do other folks, because I understand that thing. And my hope and my prayer is that you do too. You can be faced with a situation like I am, now. I walk in that room every single day, but I love hard on Joe Francis. I love hard on my mama, Hello, Wes. Good morning, my dear. Thank you for joining, for sharing, and thank you for the hearts. We're talking about our word of the day today is death. And so I realize every day what the possibilities are, but I also realize to be absent in the body is to be present with the Lord. And y'all already know I'm going to miss my mama. But the reality is I can see her. Me and Daddy used to say, see you later, alligator, and that's the perception I have to keep during this thing. I got to keep that. I cannot let the enemy convince me that death has power. Death has no power over us if we believe. No power at all. I'm still trying to get this analogy that's going to hit that thing home. I love a good analogy. But something that's going to make sense. I'll probably have to come back to you because I'm going to be satisfied till I come with it. That makes sense to the person that's not a believer. Because I want you to understand how you can really, yes, but the peace of knowing she is well and your daddy got her. Now, honey, you better say that thing. Okay, you ought to know by now. What was their song, Someday We'll Be Together by the Supremes? Oh, yeah, baby. Yes, we will. Yes, we will. So it's all good. It's all good. And God has been faithful. My mama's not suffering. I've seen people go through so much worse. I have not witnessed her cringe not one time in this almost 10-year ordeal, 2.5 years now, hospice. I got morphine in there I ain't never had to use. Got this stuff that just never had to. Watching her go through a seizure, is mentally hard, because you just want to just take that away from her. And then she goes to sleep, and she rests because it takes so much out of her. But as far as pain and the grimacing and, that kind of thing, yeah, because she knows her fight. Honey, mama gave me Jesus. So, and it's God, even in this situation, shows so much grace and so much mercy. I just can't tell it all. I can't tell it all. This has been a very interesting word. And like I said, I knew when I wrote it down over 2 months ago that that bad boy gonna come up. It's gonna come up sooner or later. So today was D-Day. But you know what? It's a blessing to be able to look at it, and it has no power over me. It has no power over me. So when it comes to perception, I have to say this will probably be the word. The word that I would say I've had the most. I'm not going to say perception changing because I've never perceived it to be, the end. I've never really attached negative things to this word until maybe I'm thinking about other people, because my concern would be where they stand. You know what I'm saying? As far as the death of old habits, that's a great way. Right. The death of old habits, that's a really good way. For you on Facebook who don't have Periscope, Nikki said the death of old habits, and that is a good way, not applying to the physical death of the body. That's a beautiful way. And yes, we do need to kill to death habit. Remember, I used to bite my fingernails too, as Mama would say, to the quick. What's quick? What is that? Is that a? Is that? That's what a term, so we put there and say. But I bet y'all knew what I meant though when I said. But yeah, I've had dreams of me in the casket, but it was my old habits dying. Wow. That's beautiful that God gave you that revelation though, of what to interpret it like that. You know what I'm saying? My mom was an interpreter of dreams. I interpret snakes. That's the only thing, but Mom can interpret that thing. That's a gift, Nikki. That's a gift. And that's good. That's good that you see that and you know that, because I know I do so many habits that I need to kill and put in the casket. That's a beautiful way of looking at it. I love that. I think I'll take that with me today. I think I'll take that with me today. Yes, I'm learning to break them down. Yeah, you got to. And then when you start understanding, I think that comes with, it comes with God's revelation. But I have to say, it seems like more stuff gets revealed. Well, no, I won't say more gets revealed as we get old, because I think that maturity thing has a lot to do with it too. But I think it's really because as we mature, we learn how to sit down somewhere and listen to what he's saying. So I don't think he's telling us more so much as we finally decided we could sit down and we would learn something if we just seek him and listen to what he got to say. And probably something he's been saying to us all our lives. You know what I'm saying? So I think it comes with knowing when it's time to sit down. And so that's a beautiful thing, because I'm sure it's not anything about you that you learned that you just started doing. You've probably been doing it all your life, but you just never really tripped. But that maturity sets in and you realize, okay, who's the common denominator? Me. So maybe I should revisit this. That's too funny. So I know I've learned a lot about myself. I'm gonna say this last 6 months, last 3 months. It seems like I learn more about myself every day, and I thank God for that, because it's helping me to realize my purpose, to sit down somewhere and get that thing together, as opposed to wasting time with all the other stuff that's just totally necessary. It's not helping anybody. It's not helping me. It's just irrelevant. It's filler, day filler. That's all it is. What am I doing with purpose? What am I doing on purpose? And yeah, you're right. All those old habits, when you start getting, vision and looking at what he's telling you and listening to what he's telling you, those old habits do start dying away. So yeah, it's kind of like it happens simultaneously. So that's good, Nikki. That's real good. I appreciate that. I appreciate you for that one, because I never thought about that. Yeah, I like that. All right, well, this is it. I question you. What is your perception of death, and does it need to change? And because Nikki said I would be embarrassed if God came today and seen my room. Girl, we ain't gonna talk about that. We ain't gonna talk about that. You say your room. I'm saying my room, my kitchen. Last night, like I said, them 4 hours, I should have been in there cleaning up the kitchen. That's what I should have been doing. Because if I turn this camera around, you'd be like, no, you know better. You know better. Mama wouldn't like that. She would, Mama would have a fit. But guess what? I'm grown. Girl, with bed. Oh my goodness. I still had those thoughts at almost 53. Ooh, Mama would get me. She'd have, as she would say, a conniption fit. She saw that kitchen. That's it. Life of a businesswoman, a wife, mama, a foe. Okay, don't get it twisted. Don't even get it twisted. Whatever. You don't like it, wash them yourself. I don't know what to tell you. I digress. Anyway, and then like Nikki added, death of old habits. What old habits do you need to put to rest? Go ahead and utilize. What is not utilized? What's the word when you say when you bury somebody? Not youth. What must I say? Euthanize. Why I can't talk? All of a sudden I just lost my girl. Go to sleep. No, go to bed. I will. when you the eulogy, when you do, yeah, you eulogize. That's the word I'm looking for. Ooh, I had to really. That's really. I had to really think about that. Go ahead and eulogize that thing, and put it in the casket and bury it. That's it. That I finally came up with. I knew what I was trying to say. My tongue wouldn't cooperate. That's when you know you're doing too much. Okay, so on that note, here we go, y'all. Death, change your perception. This thing has no power over you. It has no power over you, and it was modeled by our Savior himself. He said, look, okay, watch this. I'm gonna show you how much power death has. I'm gonna show you. This has no power over you. And you live your life to the best. Take every moment. Don't take it for granted. Take every moment. Do something intentional with it, so you'll have no regrets. Love on somebody. Love harder. Like Nikki said, and I'm a firm believer in that. Love harder. Love harder. Forgive often. Dance a little. Sing a little. Live a lot. Miss Oprah say, Mama Oprah say, live your best life. Live your best life. Live your only life. You don't have time for all that cray-cray. You ain't got time for all that. Unnecessary toxic people, all that kind of stuff. I'm not saying abandon nobody, but you just know where to place them. They can't be up all up in here right here. Just put them over there to the side. Say hello, be cordial, love on them, pray for them, but keep them over there. Live your life. Figure out what your purpose is. Lord, tell me what to do, and do it. That's what you say. And this right here, don't live fearful of this thing. Don't you do it. And this is coming from somebody who knows that it's trying to lurk around this house all day, every day. And y'all just got to put him at bay. You ain't welcome here. And when you are allowed to come and do what you do, it's okay with me. All is well with my soul. So there it is. Now that's how we going to do that. All right, y'all. Embrace your life. Embrace your purpose. Cherish your time. God woke you up this morning. This thing had no control over you today. God woke you up this morning, giving you another chance to get it right. Don't blow it. Don't blow it. Put this thing in its place. Put it right where it belongs. Okay? I love y'all. Have a beautiful Monday. Thank you, Nikki. Thank you, Yolanda. I love you all. Have a good one.